Hey everybody, this is Samir from Project Street Royals, and today we're going to be talking about my 1996 Honda Civic and the custom valve cover I have for it, as well as how to install your own valve cover with a gasket on your 1996 through 2000 Honda Civic. This valve cover I had custom hydro dipped by Wetworks Imaging out of Tennessee. If you want something similar to this done, it's about $140 including the valve cover, and well, that is if they find a valve cover for you. If you want to ship yours to them, it's going to be a little bit more, but basically I paid $140, not including the gasket. And they do fantastic work. As you can see, this is a carbon fiber design. As far as I know, there's no D16, Y7, or Y8 valve cover that comes in real carbon fiber, so this is probably the closest you're going to get. And as you can see, it looks fantastic. And I think it looks real from some angles, but it's not really meant to look real, it's just meant to look cool. Anyway, let's get to it. So in a 4-cylinder, this next step isn't really all that necessary, but it is recommended that you label each one of your spark plug wires from 1 through 4. Now in a 4-cylinder, most 4-cylinders like mine, it's easy because due to the length of the wires, the one that's labeled number 1 can only fit in number 1. The one that's labeled number 4 is the only one that's long enough to reach number 4. They make it very easy on you, but in some vehicles, V6s and up, it can be difficult, so it's just a smart thing to do, especially if you've never done something like this before. Then, obviously, you have to take off the accessories. There isn't too much on this valve cover. As you can see here, there's that little wire that was attached to that little accessory down there at the bottom, but that was already removed. You got to remove the oil cap as well. You also got to remove all the spark plug wires from the valve cover itself to be able to get it off. I thought I already made that obvious, but just being safe. Now we gotta unbolt it. There are 5 bolts, and by the way, I'm really bad with that terminology. I'll say screws, bolts, I don't know what the fuck the difference is, honestly, so I'm just gonna call them bolts in this situation. There's 3 short ones across the top, and 2 longer ones across the bottom. Now, they all come out with just as much ease, and you have to remove all of these to get them out. Now, keep in mind, you shouldn't be removing your valve cover willy-nilly and reinstalling it anytime you feel. They recommend that you don't reuse your valve cover gasket once you remove it. Once that seal is broken, you should be applying a new gasket. So before you put it on, make sure you have it done the exact right way, or else you're going to be in a world of hurt for the car at least. Once the valve cover is off, it'll look something like this. It looks really cool. Honestly, it's something you don't get to see too often. By the way, don't make fun of my stock intake. I'm still trying to get my Y8 manifold on there, but it's taking a while for my friend to get some time off to help me because I've never done something like that, so I'd love some help with it. But basically, make sure nothing gets in here. Try not to spill anything into the head. Yeah, just be safe. Just be safe. If the gasket left any residue behind along the edge, make sure you clean it off. Any oil, any dust that's on there, clean it off before you apply the new one. That is very important. Now the next step, I'm going to have some people disagree with me because a lot of people get this wrong, and I honestly got it wrong the first time I tried too. This is how the gasket gets laid in. For this car at least, there's one big piece that goes all the way around, and there's only one right way of putting it, so you'll know if it's wrong. And then you've got the 4 O-rings for the spark plug wire area. Now, if you look closely, I have them facing a specific way. Basically, I don't really know how to describe it, but you can see what way they're facing very clearly here. This is very important. Very important. I've seen a lot of people put them the other way, and there might not be a problem for a while, but eventually you might get some oil in the chamber, and it'll cause some backfire. And that's really annoying, and it's not fun to clean up either, so just make sure you have this part done correctly. Now to set up the valve cover on to the car. It's very important that you don't screw it down immediately. And by the way, I think I got it wrong from before. I think there's 2 long screws across the top and 3 short ones along the bottom. I don't remember though. This was months ago when I did this, and that was like the second time I'd ever done it. So don't judge me too hardcore. At least I did it, right? Now make sure not to fasten down the bolts yet, because I've seen this happen too many times where you'll put them down and the little tubes, the little chambers that hold the spark plug wires, they'll put the O-rings on the wrong way or not set them up properly, and they'll tighten them down, and then it'll puncture those, and they'll no longer act as seals. They'll just be there, and then oil will get in the chamber even though you have a gasket kit. So you have to make sure that you spread your O-wings apart as you're putting them on. You don't want them to get crushed by the chambers, so you got to spread them along in a certain way so that they go around them. Now, that's kind of hard to explain, so I'm sorry if this is confusing, but it's kind of more like something, you'll really understand once you're doing it. Once you're doing this, you'll really see what you got to do. I recommend using a screwdriver for this because it's kind of hard to get your finger in those tight places. But yeah. And then at this point, you can start screwing it back in and putting all your accessories back on. For this, I just blacked out my oil cap just because I felt like it. I mean, it just ended up looking good that way. And then, put all your spark plug wires back in. Just to be safe from here on out, well, not from here on out, about 500 miles to 1,000 miles from now, just take out one or all of your spark plug wires and feel around in there with your finger or a napkin. If it's dry, it's perfect. If there's some oil in there, then you've got a broken seal, and you'll probably want to get that taken care of, meaning you'll need another new gasket kit. But it's not really that expensive. I believe I got one from Felpro at O'Reilly's for like $10 or $12 or something like that. So it's not the biggest deal in the world, but it's much, like I said, well, I didn't say this yet, but I was about to say, it's much better to spend $12 and mess up and then have to spend another $12 than spending $60 to $80 for a shop to do it. And that's the absolute truth. If you can just learn, because you'll probably have to install a gasket sometime in your life. You'll probably need it done on some sort of car. Just do it yourself. Just try something yourself. I know it's scary. I know it's scary to take parts of your engine apart because it's like, oh my god, I don't know how this thing works. It's really not that bad. Especially if you really need some help, ask some of the guys at O'Reilly or AutoZone or wherever you're buying the gasket from, and they can totally help you figure it out. That's what happened. That's what I did the first time, and that's how I learned. And now I'm saving myself a lot of money. Anyway, I hope you guys found this video informative. I wish I could have done a video for you, but unfortunately that day it was just so hectic because the gasket I got ended up being faulty, and then I had to drive to another city like 20 minutes away to get another one, and then I had problems at that shop, and it was just a pain, and I would have had to bring my camera equipment all over the place with me, and I didn't have Emmer with me to help film, so it was just a pain, and I decided to just take pictures to do it. Honestly, I had this done like 2 months ago, so sorry for being so late with it, but I hope you guys enjoyed this anyway, and like I said, I hope you find it informative. Stay tuned for more from our cars, and Emmer's car is actually going to have something being done to it not too long from now, so stay tuned for that video, as well as anything else that may come your way. Also, check out our Instagram page. The link is in the description. We're always posting on there. That's the best way to stay on top of everything that's going on. And I'll see you guys in the next episode.